dito sa game na to. Now, ano yung factor na merong tig-isa or dalawang player na talagang gumagamit? Sabihin na natin na alam kung paano gumagalaw yung laro ng isang team o kung paano gumagana yung bootcamp nila.
I think ang factor dito is yung sa Execration. No? They have 4 of the key heroes that they wanted. So I think mas kabisado nila dapat yung laro ng isa't isa. No? Yung communications nila sa camp, especially with Kel VJ and Etomax on the Lancelot and Selena, mas pabor sa kanila yung ganitong klaseng setup. While you have Aura PH na medyo nag-adjust. And I think they were even forced into a corner here to pick up the Estes and the Barak.
And as you can see, yung triple split screen natin, Kilowash versus Renjo, Kelra against Benny Cutie at Greed Etomax. Medyo nagkakaroon ng konting suntukan dito sa may gitna at si Chakno nandun agad sa pwesto ng Granger at ng Estes.
Yep, yan yung sinasabi natin kanina. Yung aggression na pwedeng dalhin ni Selena at ni Kufra on invading the jungles of Aura PH. It forced the retribution immediately on the side of Lord Hades. Pero si KelVJ, ginamit din niya actually yung retribution niya. I think it was on the Little Wanderer para lang ma-secure. But yeah, it does mean that Aura PH, they can be delayed by the presence of the Kufra and the Selena.
Greed, Etomax, medyo nagkakaroon sila ng onting back and forth doon at ginagamit ni Etomax yung window na hindi pa level 4 dito si Greed para maging aggressive.
Yep, and ang malaking problem dito for Aura PH, hold that thought.
And there is Kelra going down, rotation coming out from Aura PH, Execration, they are going to have problems if magtuloy-tuloy ito.
Yeah, the wonderful side, the wonderful things on the side of Execration here is that JP got the purple buff instead of the Granger. Maybe something na pre-practice ng Aura no, na kay Estes yung purple buff. Pero normally you'd see Granger have the purple buff, and I think it's because of the presence din, yung panggugulo ni Kufra at ni Selena. Pero napaganda actually kasi they immediately rotated towards the bottom lane.
If it was any other hero rather than Granger, tingin ko hindi yun magiging case eh.
Yeah.
Kailangan mo ibigay yung purple buff.
Yeah, definitely.
Dun sa hero na yon, like a Lance, a Ling, kasi kailangan nila yung energy, kailangan nila yung mana. But, if you're gonna go for a Granger, usually kailangan mo lang si Granger, antayin matapos yung Rhapsody, tapos mag-rondo ka, Death Sonata, you need the pure damage that comes out from the orange buff.
Yep, and this comes from the level of understanding ng mga players natin. Alam ni Lord Hades na, bakit di ako mag-rotate kahit level 3 lang ako? Claude lang naman yun nasa bottom lane. And yung rotation, it started from the top, went to the bottom lane no, para masecure nila yung purple buff. So immediately, nasa isip ng Aura PH, wala naman tayong hinihintay na iba pang timers, naka-orange buff naman si Granger, which is yun lang naman kailangan niya. We can rotate towards the bottom lane. And again, ito yung level of understanding ng mga players na to. They're able to adjust these kinds of things. Kahit nakuha ni JP yung purple buff, so what, di ba? Punta pa rin tayo ng bottom lane.
Those are the things na kailangan natin maintindihan dito sa laban na to. There are certain things, maliliit na bagay, ladies and gentlemen, na talagang ginagawa tong mga teams na to para makuha yung panalo. And as we all know, Aura is excellent in objective timing.
Yeah.
Ang galing nila humanap ng proper time umikot. And for Execration, I really think yung pagiging aggressive nila is top-notch.
Oh, yeah.
Ngayon, kung mababasa ng Execration yung timers netong side ng Aura, baka yun yung maging way nila para matalo yung Aura doon sa mga objective fight.
Yep, and those conditions for Execration will come pagdating ni Lancelot ng level 4. Pati na rin si Kufra actually, very critical yan. So they have a timer na kaya nila i-contest yung Aura PH. As of right now, early game should go in the hands of Aura. But the thing is, the Lancelot will literally be unstoppable in this game kapag nag-snowball siya. Kasi if you look at the heroes of Aura PH, all they have is defensive capabilities against the Lancelot. They have no offensive capabilities against KelVJ.
We did see this nung week 7 din. Actually, one of the 2 days na meron tayo ngayon. Yung Signal, si Kekedot, gumamit siya ng lapu-lapu, which is, siya yung naging tank, pero siya rin, technically, yung naging side lane, di ba? Side lane kasi lapu yung gamit niya, pero nasa mid. And I really think na pareho yung konsepto nung lapu at saka nung Barat sa ginagawa nila ngayon. So, masasabi ba natin na nagiging maganda ba yung matchup na to kay Etomax? Kasi pwede niyang batuhan ng pana si Barats, and Barats, as we all know, wala siyang dash. Ang nangyayari dito kay Barats, parang nga siya isa sa akin na wala siyang mobility kahit ano. Talagang lalakarin mo yung mga bagay-bagay kung wala kang flicker. So do you think that is going to be something na kailangan tignan ng Execration na papababain ko yung buhay ni Greed, bago tayo pumunta ng objective?
Yeah, I think they should kasi by nature, it's already a victory for them knowing na position 4 Barats to. Even though you explained kanina no, na yung post 4 natin, nagiging blurry na nga kung sino yung mga heroes na nilalagay dito. Pero as Aura PH, no, as this game goes on, mararamdaman natin na parang nagiging 4 yung core nila. Pero as it is right now, they have no heroes like Farsa, they have no heroes like Kagura na talagang natural playmaker. So again, if you're gonna ask the question na should Execration look into this, I think they should. Kasi if they pass it up, it's victory already out of the window.
Renjo, umikot kay Kilowash at ang dalawang mag-idol na nagbatian sa Twitter at sabi nila, makakalaro ko may idol. Ang sagot ni Kilowash, good luck po, Idol Grid.
Yeah. Alam mo, ang kinaganda naman dito sa matchup natin is lahat naman to magkakaibigan.
An eye for an eye, double stun.
Yeah. The thing is, iba pa rin kasi pagdating sa sa laro talaga. Pag umaga lahat kayo, kahit magkakaibigan kayo, magkakaaway kayo sa game. Siyempre, wag mong awayin yung kampi mo.
Wag mong awayin yung kampi mo, Grid. Sinubukan siya kuwain ni Kelra, pero kasi masyado mataas yung buhay niya and ginamit yung Blazing Duet na yun para mag-clear lang ng wave.
Yep, something na nagiging nagiging normal na rin for Claude users, no, expanding the Blazing Duet para mapabilis yung farming speed. I like what Aura is doing right now, contesting the bottom lane, habang si JP at si Grid nang gugulo lang. Uy, nakain pa.
And si Grid dito, Daytona's welcome, nagkabatuan, and look at this, Kilowash to the rescue. Maaabot na kasi ito, Max, hindi niya maaabot. KLBJ na paggamit ng 2 dash. Wala na yun, nasa cooldown na yun. Renjo, one more hit, revitalize, hindi siya masasalba.
Grabe, Kilowash with the rotation on the Benedetta. Additional pa yung sustain na binibigay ni JP. And now you see how good of a defensive lineup Aura PH is. Kapag wala kang ma-burst down, literal na isusustain lang. And ang naging problema nila dun is they exhausted a lot of resources on Grid. Pero hinil lang siya ni JP. So nung pumasok na si Kilowash, there was literally nothing for Execration to do.
Doon sa may taas, nagkakaroon tayo ng push galing kay Kilowash at kay Lord Hades. Renjo being the back siya. I mean, malakas siya mag-hold ng lane.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But in terms of wave clear, kailangan mo gamitin yung ultimate mo.
Yep. And Execration, ito na yung pinag-uusapan natin timers kanina. No? Nandyan na yung level 4s ni Chakdu, but they need a lot more time. They need the items on the Lancelot, on KLBJ, and they actually need for Seldina to scout some potential targets here for Execration. And meanwhile, Aura PH naman, pwede sila mag-relax lang. Again, ito yung lineup na pwede kang mag-relax as long as Execration, they're not playing aggressive. Kasi pagdating ng late game, you have all the defensive capabilities in the world and ma-amplify pa yan with the items that they can buy.
Ngayon, nakikita natin yung Selena dito ni Eto Max. Talagang umikot-ikot lang siya, try niya maglagay ng trap. And napakalaking bagay kasi na jungle track mo, yung kalaban.
Yeah.
Like, for example, itong Granger na to mabilis mag-clear to. And given the fact na mabilis siya mag-clear, yung timers ng pag-gank niya, dun sa may top or dun sa may bot or possibly yung mid, napapabilis din eh.
Yeah, definitely.
So, ibig sabihin, kapag nilagay ka ng trap doon, nakikita mo at nababalaan mo yung teammate mo, oy, papunta na sila dyan. Nandiyan na sila sa area mo, mag-target hug ka muna.
Yeah. Yun yung information control na pwedeng makuha ng Execration. But this is something that should switch come the mid-game, no? Imbis na pang-defensive na, uy, back ka muna, third hug ka muna. Dapat pagdating ng mid-game, when you get information from the traps, dapat makapag-calculate na aggressive play si Execration. Kasi that's their main condition. That's their primary condition to win this game. Kailangan mag-snowball yung Lancelot. So when the timer comes, dapat talaga mag-switch yung laro ng Execration.
And this is going to be interesting kung paano nila gagamitin yun sa kanilang advantage. And Kilowash, na kung nakita nyo dun sa last part na nakita natin yung mapa, nandun siya sa may triangle brush noong top lane. Ngayon, it's kinda like a Benedetta special na eh, na hindi lang naman si Kilowash yung gumagawa nito. And Kilowash knows na pwede magamit yung presensya niya doon sa may ibang lane if ever man mabilis niya makiklear yung wave.
Yeah, napakabilis kasi ng mobility ng Benedetta. So it's something that comes with the hero, parang second nature na, no? Kapag nilalaro mo yung Benedetta, once you've cleared the wave, you should automatically rotate kasi aabot at aabot ka. Parang essentially far sa side lane, na kapag na-clear mo na yung wave, pwede ka mag-rotate towards mid, help your teammates, and tulungan mo na kumontrol ng resources. So it's Kilowash, it's really good that he is doing this kasi kung hindi nila ginagawa yun, walang punish sa yung pag-farm ni Execration ng early game.
A lot of teams are doing this, and at the same time, guys, ngayon sinasabi ko na sa inyo, nagiging mainit ang last day natin. Mainit na nga sa first 2 series. Feeling ko papainitin pa ng third and fourth. Ngayon, Aura Execration, they're looking at each other. And ngayon ko na napansin pala, midnight, no? Nabuo na naman yung Season 4 at Season 5 champions natin.
Oo. Andito lahat, no?
Si Caplicia lang ata wala eh.
Well, si Reflecia, feeling ko ano naman yun eh. Tamang nood na lang. Sabi niya, wala, tapon na kami.
Tsaka sabi ni Caplicia, feeling ko, wala eh. Talagang nandyan na ako eh. Ramdam niyo naman ako dyan eh.
Ramdaman naman yung presensya niya eh. Tsaka feeling ko si Reflecia kasi busy na kinukurl niya yung blonde na buhok niya.
Wag natin balikan yung mga bagay na gano'n, ladies and gentlemen. Kami ang nabiktima noon.
Yep.
And alam mo, seeing them playing on opposite sides of the map, talagang, alam mo yon, ang tagal na ng pinagdaan natin sa MPL. Ang tagal na rin na pinagdaanan nila. Even though na taon lang halos yung pagitan nun. Nakikita mo that these players are evolving, and Kilowash, Electro Final Blow, clearing out the wave. At kung mapapansin mo yung placement ngayon ng Aura sa mapa, nandun na sila sa side ng Execration.
Oo. Ito, alam mo, familiar na familiar to eh. Kakakita lang natin tong ganitong klaseng gameplay from our previous series. This is how Blacklist Internationals play the map. They split with Edward and rotate towards their gold lane, maximize kung ano man yung farm na meron yung gold laner nila, and just insanely put a lot of pressure on one of the side lane. Kasi alam mo na lamang naman yung isang side lane when it comes to wave clear. So, pwedeng apatin mo yung isang lane habang walang sagot yung kabilang team.
Yes, nakuha niyo yung kill kay Greed dahil dinelay niya kayo sa pagpunta dun sa baba.
Yeah.
Pero look at this. Yung farming spot ng isang Claude, as early as 5 minutes in, wala na siyang torre doon.
Wala na talaga. Nada. Literal na walang bahay si Kelra dito. And it forces the Claude to move out of this farming space. Pero doon pa rin siya pupunta. And it's a nice choice kasi yung Aura PH, nandun naman sila sa taas, no? So this is information control from Kelra na alam niyang inaapat yung backshot sa may top lane. So pwede ka mag-farm sa may bottom lane.
And as you can see, si Kelra doon, napakalayo ng pinuntahan niya and matatagalan siya bago makapunta dito sa may turtle. So it's going to be a 3v4 situation. Kung gugustuhin man ng Execration na kunin to, pero Retrigod, KLVJ, naagaw pa niya, Lord Hades, ang kanyang next target, KLVJ, going up and manning up against the side of Aura. Wow! Kiel will go down, but still the fact remains, nakuha niya pa rin yung turtle at nakuha niya pa rin si Hades.
Okay na yon, Butters, kasi nakuha naman yung jungler, diba? Na-trade lang, kumbaga, pero essentially, it was just a mistake from KLBJ. Pero nakuha pa rin niya yung kailangan niyang kunin. Wala lang siyang dash, pero kung meron yun, baka naubos ang Aura PH. Oh! Nice play from the Kufra right there.
And Benny Cutie, di niya in-expect yun. Napapasok pa si Chakno. Binigay ni Chakno yung buhay niya. And it's a good move kung iisipin mo. Kasi, madedelay yung pagkuha ni Alice ng stacks.
Yeah.
And hindi pa siya makakapag-farm for that certain moment.
Yep. Tsaka ang kinaganda ng trade is, tank naman si Chakto. He passively gains gold from the mascot he has. Oh my goodness! Kelra! Blazing the wet! Oh my god! Kulang yung damage, Butters!
And grabe yung pag-pinpoint nila kung nasan si Lord Hades. If ever man na walang ulti si JP doon, that could have been a kill. Grabe yung damage output.
Oo, kailangan alalahanin ng Execration, ng Aura to, no? Yung damage na nakukuha nila from the Claude, and especially yung setup pa ni Kufra. Benny going in.
At binawian ni Benik si Chakno dito. Talagang nung nakita niyang papasok na, tsaka naman siya pumasok. Siya na mismo yung nag-dive. KLVJ, na biktima na Daytona's welcome. Kilowash, sa may pinakalikod. Sinusubukan niya i-zone out yung mga members dito side ng Execration. Aura, they will take down the turrets once again. Lumiit na naman ang mapa nila. Renjo humarap. Hindi pa kinakaya ng Aura ngayon, pero masaya sila sa nakuha nila.
Yeah, alam mo, Butters, this time around, Aura PH, they're the ones holding a gold lead against Execration. Although nandun pa rin naman yung damage output ni KLVJ, at this point, the sustain is just higher on the side of Aura PH. Nandiyan na yung heal ni JP, nandiyan na rin yung defensive items on the heroes of Aura PH. And ayun, makikita natin yung item check na naka-brute force breastplate na si Lord Hades, and pati na rin si Barats meron ng Dreadnought armor building up his next item. So this is a huge problem for Execration kasi Blade of Hephaestus pa lang inukuha ni KLBJ.
And yung Aura ngayon, no, parang hindi sila yung timing perfect na team. Na yung Execration, nakakitaan mo na pinipilit pa rin talaga nilang i-contest kahit papano yung mga objectives. At ang nagiging way nila, sila yung nauuna dun sa pwesto. And right now, magbaback-out sila doon kasi nga, mas madaming kailangan i-manage lanes as compared sa Aura.
Kaya na, antik kiras for greed and ultimate bonding experience. For Aura PH, 5 hero yun nasa mid lane. Hindi nila hayaan na matapos to. They can still take more objectives. May Detona's welcome pass si Greed. Arrow hits JP pero wala naman silang pakialam.
Systematic ang ginagawa ng Aura. Check doon natin sa may pinakalikod. Lord Hades na naman yung na-target nila. Kill VJ nasa gilid. And Blessing of the Moon God. Pinihit ni JP. Pero will it be enough? Kelra dito tutumba. Claude will go down. Estes ang next na tutumba mga kaibigan. Greed, trying to run away, pero sa sobrang daming tao dito, tingin ko, Midnight, this is going to be a kill. Kilowash, nandito pa rin, eye for an eye, makakatakbo ba siya? Renjo, hinahabol siya unti-unti. Stun, nandun, bago tumama yung gulong. At sila Chakno, Max, humahabol pa rin. Sabi nila, sige pre, tatangkihin ko to, ako na bahala. Execute, ginamit na ni Kilowash. Para kahit, tinamaan ng pala. Max, tumama yung pana.
Alam mo, napakalupit nung start for Execration. Chaknu with a perfect sandwich play on the backline. Nag-shift ng focus si Aura PH. Nagulat sila, may Kufra sa likod. Pero hindi nila napansin is the entry of the Lancelot. Napakagandang pag-control nun with the dashes. And he was able to secure the kill onto Lord Hades. Pero I think napunta sa ibang hero yun. Pero it could have been better for Execration if had Benny Cutie not noticed Kelra's entry with the Claude. Kasi yung ginawa ni Benny Cutie, nung nagkakaroon na ng teamfight, alam niya na ang kailangan niyang isipin is may paparating na Claude. So he was able to hold off Kelra with the Blazing Duet and napatay pa nga niya yung Claude. Pero this is something that they have to worry about. No? Again, yung damage output ng Execration, it's still overwhelming at this point. Kailangan pa rin mag-ingat ng Aura PH whenever they try to engage on teamfights against Execration.
Aura is doing great lalo na sa mga team fights, but Execration nagbabato rin sila na sarili lang suntok. Lord is now up at nakikita nyo naman yung pwestuhan ng mga team dito. Nasa taas na sila. And you know what, Midnight, ang pinaka napapansin ko dito sa side ng Execration, ang galing nila i-pinpoint kung nasaan si Lord Hades.
Yeah, ito kasi yung primary target nila. Kumbaga lahat ng mata ng Execration nakatingin sa Granger. Pag lumabas sa cellphone nila, auto-lock yung mata nila. Ang tinitignan nila si Lord Hades. And nagre-reflect naman sa KDA. 0, 2, and 3. At the moment, yung Granger natin. Ito yung hero sa side ng Aura PH na ang tingin ng Execration, bawal kang maglaro.
Kung mapapansin mo, Midnight, yung passive dito ni Greed, literal na mas nagiging madali ata siya tamaan ng panay dun sa big guy.
Lumalaki siya. Pero alam mo ba, wala naman kasi siyang walang problema. Kasi pag tinamaan siya, less than 1 second yung yung stun ng arrow sa totoo lang Hindi siya tinamaan, sayang.
Diba? Ang nangyayari kasi, okay lang na saluhin niya yun. Kasi nga mayroong passive. At dahil sa passive na yun, tumataas yung regen, yung stun time, bumababa. And
my goodness.
Si Greed, alis siya, Benny Cutie, nandun sa may pinakalikod. Max, nahuli. At ito na yung sinasabi natin, force engage. Wala sa pwede, Max, kaya siya mahuhuli. Si Kelra, walang pumansin. Sinusubukan niya i-take down si Greed, pero tingin ko hindi yun yung tamang target. Renjo, tinatangke, 4 na tao. Chakno, 2 tangke, nandun sa may pinakaharap. Hinayaan na nila makatakas si Kelra. Si Chakno ang main target nila, and that turret sa may gitna.
Nakita mo yun, Batters. Tinangke ni Greed lahat. Tyrant's Revenge, Tyrant's Rage. Pati yung pa natin ang buhay pa rin with the sustain of the Blessing of the Moon Goddess and Aura PH. They want to end the game right now.
Gustong-gusto na lang tapusin to, Kilowash. And Benny Cutie, grabe yung effort na pinapakita nila dito. The golden duo of Aura PH. Greed, yung pana sinasalo, yung tenacity nandun.
Less than 1 second, sabi ni Grid. Panahin mo ako, okay lang. Tatanggapin ko ng buong puso. Alam mo, si Grid dito, napakalaki na nung barracks niya. Gusto niya talaga, syempre gusto ni Grid malaki siya. Para may stacks with the big guy. And kahit anong CC ibato mo sa kanya, hindi nagtatagal ng 1 second.
And ito yung nakikita natin dito, si Grid. Literal, sinasalo niya. Lahat ng pwedeng saluhin para lang lumaki yung kanyang barracks. And at the same time, papansinin mo, huwag ka tumawa dyan. Eto Max, kahit anong gawin niya, kahit subukan niya palusutin, parang nangyayari kasi, si Greed, hinahanap niya pa na matamaan siya.
Oo. Sabi ni Aura PH dito, pag meron tayong barat sa harap na, na full stacks, pwede tayong pumasok ng pumasok. Kasi sasaluhin lang ni Greed lahat Literal na, again, ito yung pinag-usapan natin kanina noon, literal na walang kayang gawin si Chaknu and pati na rin si Max kapag yung Barats yung problema nila. Pero kaya nga napakaganda ng sandwich play ni Chakno kanina kasi hindi ready and ang natalunan niya is yung backline which was Lord Hades and the gang. Pero ito, naku po.
Chakno, ginamitan ng Daytona's welcome, hindi ma-cancel, dinala niya doon sa kamay ng kanyang teammates. Kahit wala na yung stun, gusto lang nila mapalapit and ayaw nga din itama sa pader kasi if ever hindi nila mapatay agad, sila ay mababalikan doon.
Oo, tabi-tabi pa naman sila, sabi nila, wag dyan pare, tabi-tabi tayo. Pag tayo na-ult yan, tapos ang ML.
And Lord Hades, this might be yung pinakamalaking contribution niya for this fight if ever he gets this Lord. Kasi nga kanina pa siya shutdown ng side ng Execration. And hindi mo siya masisisi. Ganon talaga yung game plan ng Exe.
Yeah, it's a hard Granger game. Knowing na may Selena, merong back siya, and kailangan mo rin intindihin yung entry ni Claude tsaka ni Lancelot. Actually, sobrang daming tumatakbo sa isip ni Lord Hades ngayon. Hindi lang buhay niya, pati ML kailangan niya problemahin. Kaya napakahirap laruin nung kanyang game. But the thing is, he has only died twice.
Now, Execration is time on their side, Midnight.
Not anymore. Kasi wala na. Ang timers ngayon ay nakay-aura na. There's a lot of defensive capabilities on this roster. In Execration, tapos na yung momentum nila na mag-snowball. They're hoping to get an opportunity against Aura PH with an immaculate set from Chaktu.
At ito, nagkakaroon na ng hindi onting push. Ito yung big major push.
Chaknu!
Ginagawa ng Aura. Chaknu! Dun sa may likod! The specialist! Penny Cutie suppressed! Winter Truncheon nagkabatuhan na! Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh my goodness!
down! Claude! Kelra! Nakuha niya yung kill! Chaknu tumalon dun sa may pinakaharap and Lord Hades hindi siya mahanap ngayon ng side ng Exe.
The specialist, ladies and gentlemen, kakasabi ko lang, humanap na magandang set. He was able to set on the backline na gamit kagad yung Blessing of the Moon Goddess to save kung sino man yung natalo na niya. Pero sabi ng Execration, bait lang yon. Kasi pag nagtipon-tipon kayo, magdikit-dikit kayo sa damage ng Blazing Duet ni Kelra.
At eto, Execration marching on to the mid lane. Gusto na nilang basagin yung mga tore. Gusto nilang maging even yung mapa. Gusto nilang mabawi yung map control na kung ano man ang wala. Hey, Chakno! Oh my goodness! Lord Hades! Oh my!
But win condition of Aura PH. Tanggalin si Chakno.
Oh, ano yun?
Wala. Alam mo, Butter, sabi nga ni Pakpet, nasa player na yan. Wala na sa draft. Kinounter na ng Aura PH, pero Chakno kasi yan.
Chakno making impossible plays happen dito back sa side ng Execration and Aura. Paano mo sasagutin yung isang tao na magaling lang talaga mag-set?
Wala. Dasal. O kaya, ang pwedeng gawin ng Aura PH dito is constantly look for the Kufra. Pero kasi, ang problema nila dun sa part na yun, di ba, nagpupush yung Lord, lahat sila nakatingin kay Lord. Si Kufra, si Chakno, wala sa base. Ang hirap sagutin ng mga ganong klaseng movements. Veteran moves eh.
Veteran moves and Chakno. Kailangan mo talaga siya i-take account for. Kung hindi mo alam kung saan si Chakno at any possible moment ng clash, ganun yung mga bagay na nangyari. At nahagip niya doon si Benny Cutie. Si Benny Cutie, hindi siya nakalapit sa madaming tao.
Yeah.
Na-control siya from afar ni Kelra at nung Lance, nabatuan na siya ng Thorn Rose. And at the same time, Midnight, parang ano yun eh. Yun yung pinakaayaw na pwesto ng isang alis na walang malapit sa kanya kasi nagta-thrive. Nagta-thrive ang isang alis kapag maraming kalaban na nakapaligid sa kanya kasi sustain is coming from the enemies themselves.
Yeah, and then naging sagot din ng Execration is nung nag-Winter Truncheon si Alice, wag na nating pansinin. They went for the backline. Kelra actually made the perfect entry to that team fight. Sabi niya, okay guys, nakapag-setup na si Chakdu dahil nga naka-ultimate bonding experience ang Aura PH. Dikit-dikit sila, lahat sila sinalo. Yung damage output ng Blazing Duet, even with the sustain of the Winter Truncheon, hindi naging enough yon for Benny Cutie to go out.
Alam mo ba kung ano yung nakadikit talaga doon?
Ano yung nakadikit doon?
Ano yung LAN cable? Nagiging mabilis talaga lahat. Double giga eh.
Sakto green pa yun, no?
Oh, double giga eh.
Double giga.
Yun yung tinatawag na double giga connection. Ngayon, balik tayo dito sa my game. Ladies and gentlemen, mga LAN cable nga yun, huwag ka tumawa dyan.
Alam mo, naniniwala naman ako. Kasi kapag dinigitan ka ng JP, only speeds.
Only speeds.
Takbo lang na takbo.
Only speeds. Yo! Now, Aura. Laban lang.
Oy!
Nandiyan na.
Ang dami ng immortality sa side ng Aura PH. Actually, this is something that Execration needs to worry about. Yung second round ng Aura PH. Again, if you are a sustained lineup, habang tumatagal at tumatagal yung clash, no, even though beneficial kay Claude yan, kapag wala ng burst damage yung lineup na kalaban nyo, pabor sa inyo. Kasi second time around, may sustain pang idadagdag yung Aura PH.
Renjo, nahuli siya. Meron pa ba siya nung gulong? I think not. Revitalize, pinapatagal lang, dinedelay lang inevitable, and he will go down.
Oh, Grid?
While si Grid, nahuli din sa may gilid.
Oh, nakain!
At nakain siya dito, dalawang member ata ng Execration na mawawala. Make that 3. Eto Max, makakatakas ba siya? Pero nandun yung dalawang members, hindi ko na alam kung saan sila nakabase. Yung isa nandun sa kabila, yung isa nanggagaling dun sa river.
Arrow?
Tatama, pero still.
Less than 1 second talaga.
Less than 1 second.
Grabe! Mahater si Grid. Mamamatay na siya. Pagkakain niya kay KLVJ, which was nice target selection by the way, kasi alam niya na si KLVJ yung papatay sa kanya. Pagkakain, flicker out, dinudge yung huling tira, and he was able to regen some HP after the Daytona's welcome.
Actually, pagkakabasa ko nga doon midnight, yung nag-Daytona's welcome, nung hindi pa kumakagat, nag-flicker na siya.
Nag-flicker na kagad para ma-dodge niya.
Para mahuli niya yung mahuli niya yung Lancelot. And di ba katulad nga ng sinabi mo kanina, Lancelot is one of those heroes na ang hirap talaga huliin ng Daytona's welcome. Kumbaga, pag Daytona's welcome, tapos Lancelot yung kalaban mo, unless magamit niya talaga in a wrong manner yung kanyang mga skills, ilista mo na makakataka siya.
Oo. Pero at least you bait out the dash. Kasi ang kailangan niyang gawin doon is gamitin yung kanyang first skill, lalo pag late na. Pwede mong gamitin yung Phantom Execute mo to get out of the AoE. Pero most of the time, syempre yung Lancelot gusto niya minamadali. Kaya yung first skill na bait out yun. Kaya medyo interesting yung matchup ng Barat tsaka Lancelot.
And ngayon, nakikita nyo both of the teams nandito na sa area ng Lord. Exe, eto Max, nagbabato ng pana, and that is going to be a 1-second stun dahil nga medyo malayo yon. And remember, it's all about the range for the Selena.
Yep, Chakno. Nakita niyo si BANGBANG rito. Naku po! Aura PH, alam nila kung nasan si Chakno, Kuya Butters.
And ang ganda ng huli ni BANGBANG. That is not a flicker in. That is the flowing blood.
Grabe naman yung mga dodgers na mga players natin. Actually, muntikan na si Execration. But the thing is, at least, it forces out Execration from this box of the Lord para ma-take ng Aura PH. And napakahirap i-contest nito kahit papatamahin nila yung pana nila. Oh, KLVJ!
Wow! Renjo! Nabunggo niya yung Lord! Saan niya mapupunta? Benny Cutie! Nahabol si KLVJ! Flicker in! Matutumba si Kiel! Pero kakailanganin pa nga ba ng Aura yung Lord dito as they march on sa may gitna? Execration, what can they do? 3v5 situation, and actually 2v4 kasi hindi pinapauwi ni Kilowash dito. Yung back siya.
Pero may Blazing Do It, si Kelra. He can actually clear the next wave, and hindi na nga nila kinailangan gamitin. Grabe naman yung pagbunggo ng gulong ni Renzo doon. It's Aura PH try to adjust their draft not to get outdrafted, pero they still got outdrafted. Kasi kinerfball yung Lunox eh. Pero na-outdraft pa rin sila nung Harat last pick.
So, both teams, may mga sagot-sagot sila dito. But remember, 50% of the battle is the draft. And the other 50%, nandoon sa Celestial Palace. This is game number 2, Aura PH versus Execration. If gusto tayong dali na Execration ng game number 3, kailangan nila manalo dito.
Yep, they have the best chance this time around. The Hayabusa can easily snowball on the early game. Kasi pag tinignan natin yung heroes ng Aura PH early game, they have no early game movements aside from Kilowash trying to make rotations on the Benedetta. But again, looking at the side of Execration, they have the Barats and they have the Kagura. Tapos meron pa silang Cho na kayang tumulong din pagdating sa pickoffs.
Si Chakno nandito na rin at pinipilit niya talagang kulitin unti-unti. And yung pagiging involved niya na ganyan, hindi naman niya talaga focus na nakawin yung purple. Ang gusto niya gawin doon is, yes, siguro manakaw yung purple, pero the main objective ng pagpunta niya doon is to force Lord Hades na gumamit ng retry.
Yep, parang yung ginawa din ng Aura sa kanila nung game number... actually, Execration din pala gumawa nun nung game number 1. And the thing about this rotation from Chakno is it makes it sure na Aura PH ililish nila si Lord Hades. Kasi kung hindi nilish ni JP yung link kanina, ilang sipa yung aabutin ng link bago niya makuha yung purple buff.
A lot of thought process na nabato doon sa maliit na segment ng laro, pero still, it makes all the difference in the world para dito sa dalawang teams na to. Execration on the other hand, Kelra level or level 3, parehas sila ni Benny Cutie. And looking at the late game potential netong dalawang teams, since may Alice din sa baba, may Harriet din sa baba, ano nga ba yung tema or yung timing or yung pulso ng late game dito for these two teams?
Honestly, Execration, yung timer sila dito is wait for the late game ni Harith. They don't essentially have to do anything on the early parts of the game kasi si Aura yung pwede mag-dictate nun. But again, nasabi natin kanina na medyo limited yung early game movement sila. That's why they need to force this one out. And I really like the lane choice here of Aura PH. Ang iniipit nila is yung gold lane kasi eto yung primary win condition ng Execration, the Harith. But, Butters, ang side effect nun is you're giving the other opposite side of the map to the Hayabusa.
And then again, Midnight, ito lang yung sasabihin natin dyan. If ever dun kayo sa taas pumunta, mapapatay nyo yung barrats pero madami kayong resource na gagamitin.
Yes,
and that
yes,
also
yes.
means na yung objective ay hindi na din mapupunta sa inyo.
Yep, that's why you're already seeing the gold going to the side of Execration. No? Even though 400 or 100 lang yan, the key element here is that Execration sila ang lamang sa late game. Yes, may lunok sila for the side of Aura PH against the Harriet. But again, you have 3 heroes on your side na lugi kay Kelra.
Ito yung napapansin ko, parang hindi talaga nabibigay ng kahit anong priority dito yung side ng Aura sa pagdating ng first turtle. And right now, JP, napili siya ni KelVJ. The shurikens will come out, pero hindi enough yung marks para gawin yon.
Yeah.
And especially pag may fortress ka, hoy! Doon sa baba!
Solo kill!
Nakuha ng kill! Pero sabi ni Lord Hades, sige, susubukan kita ibawi. Chakno nandito sa may area. And Benny Cutie, wow, nakuhaan siya ni Kelra na isang kill.
That was a solo kill, ladies and gentlemen. Even though lugi naman talaga sa matchup, pagdating ng level 4, it actually changes. Kasi si Benny Cutie, ang kailangan niya lang gawin dito is clear the waves. Pero sabi ni Kelra, MVP ka 2 linggo
Alam mo, eto na yung pinag-uusapan natin. Meron 2 Azure Blade si Harris.
Oo.
Bakit nga ba siya meron 2 Azure Blade dito?
Kasi nagpo-proc yan, sabay. Kumbaga, ano yan, isipin nyo guys na individual items yan. Na kahit 2 yung bilhin nyo, hindi lang isa yung proc, kundi 2. And those 2 items can be converted into Calamity Reaper and Thunderbelt. Napakaganda nung huli ni KelVJ against Lord Hades.
Shadow kill, shuriken, kahit tumalbog pa yun sa iba, doesn't even matter. KelVJ still got the kill.
Yep. And alam mo, Butters, going back to sa Thunderbelt idea ni Kelra, it's actually good against Aura PH. Pero ang daming engagement dito, Butters!
And wow! Yung plano ng Aura na pinipressure nila yung bottom lane, Execration answers it with their own pressure at mas naging successful sila doon.
Yep, alam mo, sabi nila, ito pala primary win condition nyo, si Benny Cutie pala. Siya na lang, guguluhin namin kasi yung bar sa may top lane, kahit mamatayan, okay lang, wala silang pakialam.
And ang daming nagamit na resources, as you can see, nagamit, actually, ilang ultimates yun? Apat na ultimates, just to take down Renjo.
Barats yan. Ang ginagawa lang naman ng Barat, stay lane, keep the stacks. Pag nakuha niya yung Guardian's Greaves, yung Guardian's Helmet, join the fights.
Join the fight. M2 World Championship.
Yup.
Dito naman sa may turtle side, KelVJ, he's gonna try to get this turtle. At pinaproc niya yung mga shadows kasi meron din naman kahit paano damage dyan. Min-maxing kung ano mang meron ka doon sa may taas, may push na nagaganap, pantay na sila ng baba, 1-1 sila sa turrets. And looking at this, KelVJ, nakuha pa nila yung orange buff ni Ling.
Oo, pero alam mo, efficiency yung ginagawa ni KelVJ. Yung pagkatapos yung turtle, makaka-shadow out siya.
Oh, and look at that. Reset yung turret damage.
Oh!
At Greed napilitang umalis. At titingnan natin kung paano siya makakatakas dito. Eto Max, nasa area na din. Meron pa ba siyang brilliance para makatakbo? Yes, meron pa. Pero grabe yung rotation na ginawa dito na side ng Aura. Napakalayo niyan from coast to coast. Pero walang mangyayaring pick-off or walang mangyayaring fight.
Yep. Alam mo na, ang lupit din talaga ni Kilowash. If it was any other player, they would have chased the Harriet kasi alam nila na wala naman na Summon Force eh. Even though magkukuldon yun, kayang-kaya niya patayin yun within the time frame. Pero kasi kakakita niya ng Kichakno. So iniisip niya na baka kahit habulin ko tong Harriet, baka mapatay ko, pero mahuli naman ako ni Chakno. So there's a lot of risks involved there with the Benedetta trying to chase for the kill. So ang sabi ni Kilowash, disengage na lang ako.
Okay, so Renjo nahuli, Chaos Darkening, ginamit lahat, binomba ng binomba si Renjo. Sama mo na si Lord Hades, 0-3 si Renjo, pero ginagawa niya lang din yung trabaho niya talaga eh.
Oo, alam mo, sabi ni Kelra dito, Renzo, trabaho mo rito, mamatay kasi kailangan ko mag-farm. And right now, KLVJ is trying to return the favor against Aura, pero lalaban pa rin ang Aura PH.
Ang ganda na huli ni Benny Cutie.
Flick out!
Just in time. Eto Max, nagkahulihan na. Lord Hades goes down. KLVJ gets a kill on Benny Cutie. At ang daming nawawala dito sa side ng Aura. Pero sabi ng Aura PH dito, mas kumpleto kami. Make that a 3-for-2 trade in the favor of Aura PH.
Pero ito, tignan mo yung trademark ni Kelra. Alam kasi ni Kelra kung kailan siya lalaban at kung kailan siya bababak. Ginamit yung Zaman Force to clear the wave in the middle lane. Pero ang primary answer ng Execration dito is just to farm.
Pare, you're so conyo.
I'm so conyo, pare. I'm so sorry.
Conyo, pare.
Look at this! 4.7k on both KLVJ and Kelra. Oh, nakuha yung turtle pero nasipa si Killwash.
And Kilowash will be the target. Kelra nakuha.
Nakita mo yung pinipredict niya yung dash ni Benedetta. Sabi niya, dadash to dito eh.
Well, kailangan din talaga kasi tamaan. Yun yung isa sa mga downside ng Chrono Dash eh.
Oo.
Yes, maganda yung Chrono Dash, mabilis mag-cooldown, pero pag hindi mo natama, hindi rin mag-off cooldown.
Pero yung ano talaga, yung Sinker Fisher, pinipredict niya kung saan dadaan si Kilowash. Kaso masyado siyang pogi. Sabi niya, sige, tira ko na lang.
Oh, yeah, well, nakuha niyo naman yung kill.
Yeah.
Hindi naman nagmamatter kung na-predict niya o hindi as long as he gets the kill. Now, Benny Cutie. Grabe yung pressure sa kanya and looking at his score right now, 0-3-4.
Oo, this is probably the hardest game for Benny Cutie in the entire tournament. We've been seeing the shutdowns on Aura PH, but we've never seen Benny Cutie shut down on his Alice. Right now, he's trying to recover yung nawala sa kanya sa bottom lane while Kelra is just completely snowballing. And again, the nature of this matchup, lamang ang Harit Butters.
Doon sa may baba, merong pick-off na nagaganap and Renjo, mababa-flicker out lang siya. Nahuli siya nung Flowing Blood at nung root ng Alice. At sinamahan pa ng Chaos Darkening, pero dahil nga sa flicker, siya ay mabubuhay. At marami ng buhay na nasalba ang flicker.
Yep.
Pero ngayon, nandito
siya
na
na naman.
At siya na naman ang pinili. At siya na naman ang uulihin. And Renjo, mauhuli siya ng Tempest of Blades. Pero still, the fact remains, ginamit mo pa rin yung Tempest of Blades. So that means, dito sa ginagawang push ng side ng Execration at doon sa gagawin nilang push sa taas, wala kang Tempest of Blades.
Yeah, the thing is, Aura PH, they're getting what they can. Kasi ang problema, hindi rin nila kaya contest yung Hayabusa and yung Harit at this point. So Execration, they're happy with that. Even though ang nasasaktan dito is Renzo, no, yung item build-up ng kanyang sustain item might be delayed. But again, his job in this game is to sustain for his teammates. It doesn't matter if he dies or not kasi ang importante, mag-scale towards the late game ang Execration. Again, napag-usapan natin kanina, walang kailangan gawin ang Execration kundi mag-farm. Just have the items ready on KLVJ and Kelra. Oh!
KLVJ, siya ang unang tutumba. JP, nahuli siya. Kelra dito, just unloading on the side of Aura PH. Greed, nahuli ni Eto Max. At Greed, matutumba. Nandito na si Kilowash and look at that electro final blow sa kita ng madami. Benny Cutie, ayaw na niyan.
Muntik na. Ang ganda sana ng pasok ni Benny Cutie. But on the bottom lane, Lord Hades, dito siya nakilala. Kahit nung nasa Signal Ultra pa siya, the split push off the link. The question is, may Malefic Roar ba? Pero Execration, a-answer nila yung pag-split push ng Ling with the Barats. Hindi enough yung time na nakuha niya to get the turret on the bottom lane kasi may shield pa naman.
But still, this has to be something na kailangan bantayan ng Execration. Yung buhay ng bot lane nila, ibig sabihin, kailangan na nila i-wave manage lahat-lahat na nangyayari dito sa mapa as to not get split by that Ling.
Ito yung punishment na binibigay ni Lord Hades against Execration. Sabi nila, paulit-ulit yung binigay yung lane ni Renzio. Ngayon, eto yung bubutasin ko. Execration needs to put Renzio on the bottom lane at all times to clear the wave. And it makes it so na laging 5v4 ang engagement in favor of Aura. Kasi alam nila, sila nagdidikta. Pwede nilang bilangin yung hero sa mapa. Si Renzio lang yung nasa bottom lane.
And Renjo, primary target, wala siyang magagawa. Yan talaga yung trabaho niya. Pero Divine Glaive, nakuha na ni Greed. At merong away na mangyayari dito. 4v5 situation. And Greed! Nahuli ni Chakno! Make that a 4v4. JP ang next na tutumba. Benny Cutie going in. Shadow kill. Kumapit kay Benny. Hindi siya makakatakas. Kilowash goes down. Lord Hades nasa baba. Lord Hades nasa baba. At hindi niya na mapupush yan.
Yeah, makiklear na ni Chakno yan. And ito yung sinasabi natin kanina. Batters, Batters, Execration, sabi nila, sige, patayin nyo si Renzo, ang papatayin namin yung kakampi nyo. Kelra with the deciding move. Sabi niya, ilaban natin to. He was able to get the kill wash.
Mababasag ata yung baba!
Basag yung baba, pero okay lang. Lord yung kapalit, Kuya Batters.
At eto, no. Hindi nabasag.
May minion.
Hindi nabasag.
Wala, kung previous patch to, basagin.
Oh, pero still, it is what it is. Kamunti ka na yun.
Oo.
Kamunti ka na. Well, it was a great move then from Renzo na na-realize niya na, ay, teka, may minions pa pala. Kailangan ko bumalik doon.
Teka guys, yung bot ko.
Yung bot ko. Ngayon, yung side naman ng Aura, talagang inaano nila, sana meron tayong trade na makuha dito kahit nakuha nila yung Lord.
I like the choice here by Kelra. He went for Calamity Reaper. Hindi niya tinapos yung Thunderbolt kasi alam niya na hindi naman siya kaya ng Ling. Feather, Oracle to sustain against the... Feather, Oracle na nagsama. Yung Oracle to sustain against the Lunox and the Holy Crystal. Para... Kasi ang different route dito is the Divine Glaive. Pero maganda yung Holy Crystal for the surge of the magic power during the Zaman Fall.
And it's somewhat of it's a somewhat answer din indirectly para kay JD. Pero alam mo, nakita mo kung anong ginawa nila dito. Kelra just letting his talent show dito sa game na to. At si Ling nandun. Nandun na naman siya, pumunta siya doon para mag-recall.
Ang layo ng minion wave. Sabi niya, teka, ang layo pala. Hindi ko pa pala.
Kailangan ko na umalis dito. Awit sa inyo, pre.
Awit, Lods. May nag-call kasi, uy, Lord Hades, push mo yung bot. Pagdating niya, pre, wala namang minions, pre.
Wala namang awit sa'yo. Awit sa'yo. Idolo.
Alam mo, Batters, Execration dito, naghihintay na lang sila. Probably the next Lord, pero kaya nilang i-take yung natitirang dalawang towers ng Aura PH. Pero again, the next Lord is gonna be the main point of contention for these two teams. The problem is, for Aura PH, there's no real way for them to actually contest against Execration because of the existence of the Barats.
Lord Hades, yung energy niya, may energy gap. Pero dahil yan, wala siyang purple buff dito. Wala siyang purple buff eh.
Oh, wala siyang purple buff. Kulang, energy gap. Alam mo na, next.
Kailangan maglaro ka ng champion way. Mga champion mga kasama mo eh. Energy gap, di pwede.
Pag ano ka, may champion way ka, kahit wala kang purple buff.
Start your day the champion way.
Nice one. No need purple buff.
No need purple buff. Pero kasi kailangan mo yun eh. Kasi energy is key.
Oo, tama. Actually, pati si di ba? Pati si Hayabusa. Energy is key. Dapat champion way eh.
Start your day the champion way.
Pero champion na si LVG. Kaya ang lakas niya rito. Oy! Speaking of champions, Lord Hades, takbo! Hindi niya kayang patayin si Etomax.
Nagtatatakbo parang akyat bahay, ladies and gentlemen. And Lord Hades, wala siyang magagawa. Kailangan niya pihitin talaga yung Tempest of Blades. And that is another opening na pwedeng gamitin ng Execration sa sarili nilang pagkuha ng fights. Walang Tempest of Blades, pwede tayo lumaban.
Yep. 70 seconds. The condition now for Execration is to freeze the lane. Prevent Aura PH from getting the resources that they want.
Nahuli! Nasipa! Walang Tempest of Blades. Ito yung sinasabi nating opening midnight.
Grabe! Chuck 2! With a Chuck Mamba! Sabi niya sa mga kampi niya, pre, walang lipad to, pre!
And I think yun talaga yung mismo mong naging call.
Oo.
Walang lipad to, pre!
Walang lipad to, pre! Tara, go natin!
And this looks like something Execration has dreamt about dito sa game number 2 na to. All turrets, well, not all turrets, but 2 out of 3 turrets are down sa side ng Aura base. And Execration, may freedom sila magpapasok na sa base ng Aura PH if ever they want to. But the fact remains, auto-push na yung mid at yung bot.
Yeah. Oy, grabe. Si Kelra, binenta niya isang Nimble Blade, hindi niya tinapos yung Thunderbolt. He went for the Athena. Kasi alam niya na ang papatay sa kanya dito is si Lunox, pati na rin si Alice.
Yung Azure Blade.
Yung Azure pala.
Yung Azure, yung Nimble. Yun.
Kulay white yun. Yung Azure Blade, yung kulay blue.
Yan.
Yan si Lord.
Ito na si Lord. Si Lord Hades. Nandito na naman sa baba.
Ang daming Lord, no?
Uy. Alam mo, ito lang yung tinitignan ko dyan kung paano talagang makakahuli na naman dito si Chucky.
Uy!
Grabe naman yung flickering.
Pero flicker yun. Na-burn.
Flicker ang na-burn. But then again, since mobile naman ang isang JP with the back shot, pwede na lang siya gumulong papasok ng laban.
Yeah.
Although, wala siyang extra mobility para makatakas doon sa fights.
That's gonna be a problem against the Haret, no? Kasi kapag nakulong kayo sa Zaman Force, kahit pa sabihin natin makagulong ka, ang daming ways for Execration para pigilan yung paggulong ni Baxia. Oy! Chakno! My goodness, with the flicker! Nahuli si Grid!
Chakno, what a player! Legit, 100%. Yung mga bagay na ginagawa niya dito is making all the difference. Isn't really one of the strongest tanks na meron tayo ngayon. Pero kasi, ito yung mga hero ni Chakno na nag-excel siya eh.
Yeah.
So, kailangan mo bantayan si Chakno dito. Ngayon, for the side of Aura naman, nakuha nila yung mga comfort picks nila. And this game, isa lang nakikita ko, isa lang nababasa ko sa draft midnight. It's all about comfort para dito sa ating mga players.
Yeah, definitely. The other choice for Execration here would have been Akai, but the thing is, the Kufra is on the other side, so malaking problema din yun if they ever go that route. But what the Grok gives them is the ability to make frustrate, no? Panggulo kay Execration. So it's kay Aura Pitch. So it's something that Lord Hades needs to look at.
Alam ko, ang tamang word is anoy eh.
Anoy. Gusto ko make frustrate. So konyo pare.
Wow. Pare. You're so konyo pare. Right now, as you can see, KelVJ starting onto the mid lane. And si Lord Hades naman, pumunta siya doon agad sa may purple buff.
Yeah.
Now, what's the difference between these two setups?
Now, the difference between these two lineups is that Aura PH, they need a lot of time for them to actually get online. While on the side of Execration, sila naman yung nag-dictate ng momentum. This is a jungle Benedetta, a jungler that actually makes a lot of moves in the early game, as we just saw right now. Wala pang 1 minute na nag-i-feed na si KelVJ.
And eto na nga sinasabi natin, kung Claude yung pinalagay nila doon sa may middle lane or sa jungle, hindi magiging possible yung mga ganong planes. And because sturdy at maganda ang kanilang skirmish potential into the early game, nagawa nila yon. And andito na naman si Chakno.
Grabe. Pinadiran. Oy. Pinadiran ni Chakno para mabawasan niya si Lord Hades. Makukuha ni Lord Hades yung orange buff with the retribution, but that is with a lot of cost. Yung HP niya, pati na rin yung retribution. It was burned.
Lord Hades, napilitan umuwi. And hindi niya nagagamit to the maximum potential dito yung buff Kasi tatandaan natin, may duration din yan. Ngayon, it takes time para makauwi ka sa base mo sa recall, and it takes time din para makabalik ka. Although mas mabilis si Lord Hades, mas trip mo na palo ka na lang ng palo.
Yeah. Kasi you're getting delayed. You need a lot of levels on the link. Renzio, being in a 1v2 situation in the top lane, okay lang yan, it's a pakito. Pero ang kailangan natin tignan dito, Battles, is yung bilis ng rotation ni Benedetta.
Ay, nako, tinamaan ng pana! JP goes down! Wow, Kilowash! Wala siyang magagawa doon sa panahon na yon.
Yep. Walang pantakas at that time si JP, and hindi rin kasi naging enough yung HP niya to use the flicker out. Pero even din pantakas eh.
Wow! Nakita mo ba yun?
Sinahidestep.
Black A to max connection.
Oo, grabe naman to Execration. Larong-laro ang Execration. Now they set their eyes onto the next objective, which is the turtle, and the trade will be the purple buff of Link. Pero okay lang yan as long as Execration, they're the ones dictating the objective on the map.
Nahuli si Kelka dito and nabantayan siya. Wala ng BMI, pero Benny Cutie and Grid. Medyo nag-ano sila din nag-hesitate sila na pasukin si Kelka.
Actually, nagpalit ng base. Sabi ni Kelka, dito ako. Kasi pababa sila eh. Akala ng Aura pababa yung Claude, pero nag-BMI palayo. Pero okay lang, they're still able to secure the kill here onto the Claude. But again, the main problem here is the presence of the Benedetta. Tingnan mo ba ito ang aga? Nag-i-invade. Ayaw na niya sa jungle niya.
Okay, so ngayon, napapansin nyo, yung level factor netong dalawang jungle na to, pero mamaya na usapan yan. Look at that connection. Grid goes down. Eto Max, nagwawala. Dash out, dalawang beses yon. Now, bakit nagiging importante tignan natin yung levels ngayon ni KelVJ at ni Lord Hades? Level 4 si Lord Hades dito, kuha niya pala ng Tempest of Blades, meron ng flash potential. Si KelVJ naman at level 6. So that only means mas mataas yung retribution, mas maganda yung retribution damage na pwede ma-secure ni KelVJ as compared kay Lord Hades.
In theory, Execration should always get the buffs here or the objectives for their side kasi si KelVJ, it's a Benedetta versus Link, and naturally it outmatches the damage output of the Link. Benny Cutie on the bottom lane, delikado pwesto na harangan.
Grabe yung ginawa ni Benny Cutie doon. Nag-iikot-ikot siya. Hindi niya pinaalam kung saan siya pupunta. Ginulo niya muna lahat ng members ng EXE. Saan ka ba talaga pupunta?
Nabaliw sila, Kuya Batters eh. Pero ito, Execration, ang nakakabaliw, 2,000 gold lead is in the hands of Execration. And again, this is a lineup that moves faster and scales well into the late game as well dahil meron pa silang Claude. Nakuha na ni Lord Hades yung kanyang purple buff niya. Pero Chakno, binibwisit niya na talaga sila. Nasa pader na Kuya Butters, wina-charge pa para na mabawasan yung
Bakit
HP.
costly yung nangyaring yon for the side of Lord Hades? Napilitan siya gamitin yung retribution niya dun sa purple. Ang nangyari, yung turtle ngayon, 5 seconds na lang. Yung retry niya, nasa 60 seconds, 40 seconds. Fine, look at that! Great! Nahuli! Tutumba siya! JP! What? Yung mga tanks natin dito gumagawa ng sariling pangarap!
Grabe! Kung si Chakdo nagpakita nung Game 2, this time around, Game 3, si JP naman daw. KLBJ was prevented from using the electrified blow kasi nakapag-set up si JP. Napakaganda nung gamit nila ng harang doon. Pero ang ganda ring sagot! Grabe si Chakdo!
Gumagawa ng sariling pangarap nandoon sa may baba. May turtle na mababa na yung buhay. And KLBJ, this is his for the taking. At mukhang magpupush pa ng turret sa baba yung Execration dito.
Grabe, yung mga tanks natin for both of these teams, they really are stepping up. JP giving Aura a chance to fight head-on in the middle lane. Pero sabi ni Chakno, iba ang aking plano. Si Lord Hades ang aking tinitignan.
Execration, nag-rally sila dito. This is a 4K gold lead, 3.5K gold lead. If my math is correct, quick maths, tinapon ko lang yan.
Sakto, 3.4. Galing Waters.
Ayos yun, ayos yun. Ngayon, nagulat ako, tumama ako sa mata.
Hanggang ngayon, tama sagot mo. Napakalupit mo.
Oo nga, napakalupit ko. Pero, eto tingnan natin yung mapa ngayon kung paano sila gumagalaw. Yung Execration, kung napapansin nyo, nasa may gitna sila. While si Chaknu, nandito siya sa same place as that purple buff. KLBJ nahuli, hindi nagmamatter. As he will actually just survive.
Yeah,
Yun,
alam mo,
makakuha pa sila ng kill.
Alam mo yung moves kasi ng Aura PH dito, naka-based kay Ling, no? Yung capability ni Lord Hades to fight. So ang ginagawa ng Execration, ginugulo lang ni Chaknu yung Ling habang gumagawa sila ng sarili nilang plano. Kumbaga may dalawang plano yung Execration pero nagbe-blend yung dalawang plano nila.
And titingnan mo yung damage, yung gamit, hindi damage, yung gamit dito ni Benedetta. Papunta siya sa Bloodlust Axe. And okay lang na kumuha siya ng Bloodlust Axe ngayon kasi alam niya na ang laki ng kalamangan nila and sabihin natin mag-Bloodlust Axe siya dito. Yung damage output na pwede gawin ng Crack at ni Eto Max, napakataas din. Na baka hindi niya na kailanganin yung extra damage item na yun.
Ang kailangan niya rito is to sustain the fights kasi napakaraming damage na pwedeng lumabas from Execration. So I think it's the right call. Hindi siya nag-double down. Jakdo! Oh my goodness, sino nakakuha? I think it's KLVJ. Naku po, wala na namang purple buff. Si Lord Hades, taggutom yung Ling, Kuya Butters.
And if you're a Ling specialist, alam na alam mo din kung ano yung mga bagay na makakapag-annoy at makakapag-disrupt sa isang Ling. So ito yung pinapakita ngayon ng side ng Execration. Lahat ng mga bagay na ayaw nilang makuha ng Ling, hindi nila binibigay.
Yep, kinukuha lang nila. Kelra! My goodness, with the Blazing Duo with full damage, yung tinangke ni Alice, and that results into objective. Very nice control of the tower area here by Execration.
Execration, naaamoy na nila yung posibilidad na pwede mangyari pag napanalo nila tong game na to. And ML si Kuya Chaknu. JP binatuan ng payong pero para siya'y protektahan. Green will go down the process. Siya na lang yung tumulong, siya pa yung nadamay.
KLVJ, nakita niya si Ling, tumatawid. Sabi niya, pre, may balak pag purple buff. Pero wala pa. Kamaya pa yung purple buff.
And this is interesting, quite interesting for the side of Execration. They might just win through this certain tempo na sinet nila ngayon, midnight.
Yep, alam mo, wala nang pressure sa side ng Execration. All they need is to execute the plan. And the plan is to win. Kuya Butters, Renzo, hindi na hayaang makaalis si Benny Cutie. And this will be a free kill for Execration. Nahuli na si Benny Cutie.
Benny Cutie, na shutdown siya ng todo. Kilowash, nakikipaglaban kay Kelra. Kelra ng BMI.
Yun lang.
hindi lumusot dun sa kabila eh.
Oo, okay na. Nauntog yung nauntog si Dexter.
Pero in theory, makakatakas dapat siya. Just because of a miscalculation doon sa may distance, talagang hindi na nakalusot. Si Renjo,
grabe sustain.
Sinapak, sabi niya, kanina nung bakats ako, pinagpapatay niyo ako, eto na ako, the people's champion, in-uppercut lahat.
Oo, praktisado, skill wash, nauntog dito sa pader, pana, hindi na tama. Pero, Kuya Butters, si KLBJ, tignan mo, nagnanakaw yung hari.
Alam mo, si KLBJ. Baka pwede siyang tawaging the king of the jungle.
Pwede, no?
Si Tarzan na siya.
Sabi niya, kayamanan ko to eh.
Si Tarzan na yan, hindi na si KLBJ yan.
Mamaya sisigaw na yan.
Si Tarzan na yan. Pero, going back into the game, 10-3 ang score natin. 7K gold lead. Well, 6 point,
Ano yan? 6.3. Hindi, ano?
6.2.
6.2. Nice.
6.2K.
Quick math, quick math.
Oh, yan.
Hindi, 5.2 yan, 5.2.
5.2 ba yan?
5.2.
Kaya nga ako nag-caster eh. But still, remember, Chakno, nakayakap niya yung mga tao dito. Green, makakatakas, pero yung crack block ay hindi makakapagpigil.
Grabe naman yun.
Pero grabe yung
The Red Sea. The Great Divide.
The Great Divide, kumbaga, umangat yung tubig. Nung dumaan yung pana, walang gusto matamaan.
Si Etomax pala si Moses. Wala yun.
Naku po, eto na mga kaibigan. This is Aura PH not contesting the Lord, and malaking bagay ang sinasabi nito. Kilowash, Contract Inferno, won't be able to save him, at laging nalalagay yung Aura PH sa ganitong klaseng lugar na may napipitas yung mga side laner nila, at dahil nga hindi makagalaw si Benny at hindi makagalaw si Kilowash, yung pressure kay Lord Hades hindi nila mapahupa.
Yeah, and Kilowash is doing his best to make sure that Execration focuses on himself. Kahit mamamatay na siya, ang kailangan nila dito is extra space. Pero extra space hindi binibigay ng Execration. Kuya Batters, nasa purple buff na naman sila.
Wala. Timing is perfect for the side of Execration. Who knew na yung pinaka-strength na pinakita ng Aura PH all throughout Season 7 magagamit against sa kanila ngayong game na to. Sa pinaka-last game nila sa regular season ng Season 7.
Grabe, Execration. They're making a statement here. Chakno nahuli dito pero lumakbo pa siya with the wild charge!
Oh my goodness! Kuya Chakno, dinaanan lahat ang bumunggo. Giba! Eto Max, sinubukan niya pang secure yung kill doon, but that wouldn't really matter as makukuha na ni Chakno doon mismo. Benny Cutie, nahuli si Eto Max pero hindi enough yung damage output. At doon sa may pinakalikod, si Rencho, galit na. KBJ going in, one more hit, and that is going to be a wipe para sa side ng Execration. Ang ganda ng pinakita dito ng side ng Aura, but still, Execration one step ahead.
17-4 ang kill score Batters, and Execration, they're just completely dismantling Aura PH at the moment. Kilowash will try his best to clear the minion wave. The damage, is it gonna be enough?
And eto, ko po, yung moment of victory lumabas na pero wala pang kasiguraduhan, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness! Curveball, another curveball, ladies and gentlemen. Nakikita nyo nga yung Execration. Laban na laban.
Practice lang, practice lang. Practice lang daw sabi ng Aura. Next round,
Practice lang. Easy lang.
Sabi nila dito, next time around sa amin yung camera na yan. KLVJ na habol ni Benny Cutie.
Oh my... Wow! This game, 100%! Sobrang slapper knocker neto! Midnight!
Nakuha ni Chakno yung purple buff. Ay, hindi, teka. Asan yung purple buff?
Nakuha ni Chakno na to.
Hindi, na-retry.
Nakuha ni Chakno na sa ilan.
Eh, naki-Lord Hades.
Ayun, sige.
Ano yan? Skin na
Oh,
yan.
hindi, nakita na natin. Hindi na kita i-contest.
Yung skin na yan. Oy, pero ito, nakakabawi na si Lord Hades. Kahit medyo mababa pa yung pera niya, meron na siyang Demon Hunter Sword. This is crucial for him kasi kahit pa gaano kataas yung HPs ng Execration, there's still gonna be damage out of the tank here of the Ling. Pero ang next na kailangan consider dito ng Execration Batters is yung presence ni Benny Cutie.
Execration, Aura. Ito na ang push na hinahanap ng Exe. Kung ma-setup man nila to at matapos nila to, makakuha sila ng 2 points. Araw, tatama kay JP. Hindi yon yung perfect target. At okay lang yun for the side of Execration. Marami silang trial niyan. Si Hades na ipit dito sa gitna ng 3 membro ng Execration, pero makakataka siya with the Finch Voice.
Grabe. Pinapahirapan talaga nila si Lord Hades. The Ling is not really at any good spot right now, Butters. Hindi siya makapaglaro ng Mobile Legends.
Oh my goodness. Execration. This is probably their best showing.
Yeah, I agree.
Dito sa MPL. And ang ganda ng pacing ng laro nila, ang ganda ng pinapakita nila in terms of just controlling yung mapa. And this is the kind of aggression na gusto ng mga fans na makita from Execration papasok ng playoffs.
Yeah, Kelra jumping in!
Kelra, na-take down si Creed. JP dito, nasa may gitna. Kinokontrol nila si Kelra, pero Kelra, will he get away? Suppressed! Benny Cutie trying to survive. Kelra doon, nandun nag-BMI. Kilowash will get the kill. But eto Max and the others, kinokontrol na lang siya dito. Ayaw na siyang paalisin.
Oh, kiluwash!
At andito na si Kel VJ, andito na si Renjo.
Oh my
yung
goodness!
former teammates niya ang magtutumba sa kanya.